We were somewhere around Barstow on the edge of the desert when the podcast began to take hold. That's right, folks. Tiki here.
And Monkey.
And Monkey, you just went somewhere very special for the first time. The happiest place on earth, one would say.
Yeah, I mean, I only got to see a glimpse of those train cars at the McDonald's that you can eat in, but, Barstow's Barstow.
Is that what Barstow is? Does Barstow really have a train-themed McDonald's?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, man. I love that you know that. All right.
That's what I'm here for, apparently.
Right. So, yes, Monkey, you just got back from your first ever visit
to the meadows themselves, although the meadows that are in paradise.
Yeah. Fabulous Las Vegas. Although, technically, you were at the airport once, right?
This is the first time I've been to Vegas on purpose, really. First time was the other two times were because of connecting flights. The first time we missed ours because of a mechanical failure, so they put us up at South Point for the night. And then second time was just connecting. So I've seen the Strip and I've seen stuff like, I know I briefly saw the Vegas sign on that first time, but it was really quick. Like, wait, was that it? So this is the first time I was actually there experiencing it and intentionally. The funny thing is, out of these 3 events, 2 out of 3 times, it's SpongeBob's fault.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it basically is SpongeBob's fault that you went this time, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You are the only person
and with the future of Circus looking a little less certain, that was probably a push as well.
You're the only person I know that would literally book a whole trip around a frickin' SpongeBob dark ride.
You say that, but it doesn't sound ridiculous.
All right, so I will just give you the floor, my friend. You're just basically going to go chronological through this whole experience. I'm very curious to see, between this and Times Square, which of the commercialism hellscapes you enjoy more.
Well, should I say overall thoughts now, just kind of basically, or maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so my overall thought is that's a neat place. It's kind of a one and done for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's just because out of the attractions and such that are available there and what would appeal to me, and also with my whatever COVID and food anxieties and such things, it's not really going to be feasible for me to go back until I'm ready to eat in public again. So
I was thinking about that when you were there. Yeah.
Yeah. But and admittedly, there are some things where I was like, oh, well, I didn't see that. Thoughts that I'm having afterwards, but at the same time, yeah. And also, going through the place is like, wow, this is not a great place to bring children. I guess the Rugrats parents couldn't get sitters.
Right. Although, to be fair, that episode came out in the height of the 90s.
True.
Let's make Vegas a family-friendly destination phase.
You're not wrong.
That Vegas is very much pulled out of in, the past couple decades since that episode is aired.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, this whole trip, there was a lack of Rosie O'Donnell octopuses who had just found out what calamari means.
Wait, what? Oh, is that Viva Rock Vegas?
Of course it is.
Wow, okay. Well played.
But yeah, so we actually drove out there because we could.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was 4 hours-ish each way, which pulled it off. And I mean, don't get me wrong, my feet were sore, or at least the pedal foot. Still got to see some neat things along the way, like that world's largest thermometer, the alien fresh jerky, Prim, Nevada. So I got to see the standing but not operating Desperado coaster.
Oh, yes. One day. That thing is like a white whale of mine as far as coaster credits.
I wouldn't be opposed to stopping by in there at some point just for the Bonnie and Clyde car.
Mm-hmm.
And, going along the way, it's neat to see the billboards advertising the stuff at the various casinos. And like, oh, there's a print ad with the various strip casinos' names on there. And getting there's some sort of New York similarity in there, like maybe ads for shows. I don't know. And we did see donkeys next to the road at one point. Live animals. Yeah, we got there, made a little brief stop at the Vegas sign for reasons, and arrived at our spot.
How was that, by the way? Because when I was there, it was just like did you have to wait in a line to take the picture or what?
Oh, I didn't wait in a line to take a picture.
Okay.
No, I just parked for a bit so I could, find a spot to get a mask on. And then I filmed a little funny video that I sent to you where I'm like, oh, look at this amazing sign. Best bagels in Vegas. I love it.
And you were like right next to the pinball museum, because the pinball museum is like right next to the Vegas.
Oh yeah, it's right next to there. And let me tell you, if I'm going to recommend pinball museums when I'm traveling out of California, how about the Seattle one? Let's go over there. That's a nice one. And they have stuff chronologically like you wish Vegas had done.
Yep. And I'm sure the owner is not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the Seattle one is more explicitly LGBTQ plus friendly.
Nice. That's definitely good.
But anyway,
I was bummed that the Gatlinburg Pinball Museum was closed when I was there, but I'm sure the Gatlinburg Pinball Museum is not LGBT friendly.
I was rereading just the other day how much you hated Gatlinburg. I was going through those old.
Oh, dude, no! Gatlinburg is literally one of the worst places in the country I have ever been in my life. I hate that place so much.
So anyway, back to the Vegas thing. So, just another sort of general note is like, I do appreciate how heightened the scenery is. Not like, I don't mean like physically, like, oh, it's tall. I mean like just looking at the stuff, the designs feel heightened, like a heightened sense of reality. Makes it cooler to see these things in person.
Yeah, I remember when I flew in for the first time, I was pretty taken aback by how close you get to the skyline as you're landing, and you see like all of the strip as you're landing. I thought that was a really memorable first impression myself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you couldn't see Area 15, I'm guessing, because it doesn't exist. But...
Right.
Anyway, so we stayed at the Park MGM because it's the non-smoking one.
How lucky you are. I envy you. We'll get to Paris when you go there, but I definitely want to take some time to talk about Paris.
So yeah, I mean, I certainly have a few little nitpicks or criticisms, but still, it was a nice place to stay, to have the things, and despite having an issue with the safe not opening at one point, or the soap smelling weird. or for me, it wasn't as someone who's kind of, like I said, not the most open eater, like not really many, if any, safe food options for me.
Well, the big thing that they have that I know as far as food goes is Italy.
Yeah.
I assume that wasn't a take back to your room sort of situation.
Yeah, or like I guess I'm not that cultured.
Yeah, fair.
Like there was, like if I hadn't seen a review or two that was concerning me a little, there was a non-zero chance that I'd be the jerk passing through Italy, carrying Sbarro takeout.
Oh God, right.
Yeah, because that was a little factual. But in regards to like kind of back as we were saying with the smoke and whatnot, it was like in the middle of this big walk we were doing on that first day where it's like we've just gotten off the monorail. We're going through the whatever horseshoe tunnel towards Twilight Zone and pass by food court. There's a Sbarro in there, and the Sbarro scent amidst, in the middle, just as a little break from all the smoke and whatnot. So fucking refreshing.
That's not the smell that I'm talking about, by the way. The chemical smell. It's not. It's not the tunnel. It's the tunnel right in between Paris and the Horseshoe, not the monorail station.
Right. Okay. I got a little mixed up there, but yeah. So
good.
Yeah. So like there was some burger spot I tried, and it's kind of like, oh, the bun's not working for me. I'm just gonna go to the meat then. And in particular, there were some onion rings I got from there, and the aftertaste is like, well, I'm not experimenting with food for the rest of the trip.
Yeah. As you know, I had a very hard time with food in Vegas myself, actually, and I'm not nearly as picky of an eater as you are, and I still struggled.
Yeah. And no, I never once saw a heart attack grill during this.
Well, no, you didn't go to Fremont Street. You would, Rob,
Absolutely.
if you went to Fremont Street, you would literally fucking die, dude.
Aww.
No, I'm just saying from from your COVID paranoia, that place is just seething with germs.
Oh, gee, you say that as if I didn't go to one or two particularly high touch things on this trip.
Well, yeah.
So nevertheless, Park MGM still a nice one. And I had not a bad view from our room, looking right out towards T-Mobile Arena, and with some view to the side of New York, and a little bit of Excalibur and probably Mandalay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I could see coaster track for the Big Apple coaster.
That's cool. You never did
saw
get the credit, though, right?
Well, we'll get there, but let's just say I never saw it in action.
Okay.
So there was situated, and we just go off to do some walking around and things. And, we start that off by taking the Aria Express, another perk of Park MGM. You take it's like a monorail people mover tram thing. It's complimentary, goes from Park MGM to Aria to Bellagio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to make this decision now. So a thought I've kind of had at times, me being me, is something like, okay, so which casino is which New York theater, which Broadway house?
Oh, God. Oh, no.
I don't have it for all of them, but... So I'm thinking if we're going into our Park MGM, I'm thinking at the very least it wants to be the New Amsterdam because of the sort of greenery, the sort of green look, and some of the sort of flora stuff, New Amsterdam has grapes and things, and Park MGM has a big tree roots. So we took the Aria Express to Bellagio, and we're passing through Bellagio, and this is a spot where you and I differ, because I really dug how it looked in there.
Okay, keep in mind, my grandma and I literally got lost in those hallways trying to find the stupid art gallery. So
fair enough.
There's a difference between just walking through and literally feeling like, oh my God, where are we going? Like, how many hallways are we gonna have to walk through?
Yeah. And
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think seeing the the lobby with all the umbrellas and stuff is one of the more visually spectacular moments in all of Vegas, I think.
Yeah, and aside from the sort of nice ceiling dome things, iron things or whatever, the thing that I was especially loving was the curtains on the windows.
Right, which to me very much just they just felt like I was in the fucking Shining. Just everything.
Yeah. For me, I think it was maybe it's my love of the booth theater talking. So that's where the Bellagio is. Bellagio's the booth because of those window curtains.
What about the conservatory?
Yes, we walked by there, but didn't go into it. We got our glance, and it looked real nice.
All right,
cool.
It was a little overcrowded when I went. Is that?
Oh yeah, there were crowds there.
Yeah.
And as far as navigating places, I kind of looked up maps and such for spots that I knew I was planning to check out going into. There's a few I didn't, but I didn't exactly know if I'd be going in them, or would I? What the hell am I saying? What the hell am I saying? Public speaking, everyone. So yeah, and I did get to, and later in the day, did get a couple glimpses of the fountains. So hey, that's off the bucket list.
Oh.
And now we pass out of there and across the bridge to Caesars. and go in through that lobby and make our way to the forum shops. And you know what's funny? I barely remember the inside of Caesars itself.
Oh, that is funny because honestly, to me, the inside of Caesars was like, to me, it felt the most like what I pictured Vegas to feel like when I watched the Rugrats special. Because it is very, very heavily like a lot of the casinos and shops and stuff in Vegas are very much just generically like, like fancy nowadays. Like they don't really go too hard with the big theming. Caesar's Palace is different. I really love Caesar's Palace.
Like I think I kind of remember a spot where there were like slots in the outside of the Colosseum and from the doors to the Colosseum, maybe. But I remember the statues out front. Mm-hmm. I remember the forum shops, but the actual Caesars itself, I don't remember as much.
That's fair. I mean, I don't even think I went into the actual casino. I just went through the forum shops.
Yeah, and speaking of the Colosseum performance thing at there, so Rod Stewart is performing there, and isn't that literally an old South Park bit?
What, Rod Stewart performing?
Yeah, in Vegas, in that New Year's Are You There, God, It's Me, Jesus episode, where Jesus books him to perform at a New Year's Eve thing in Vegas, and he's like super old and frail and in pain.
Oh, God. Well, the Rolling Stones were performing when I saw Carrot Top, and that's why the line for the taxi was utterly fucked. So, yeah.
And something that I was really amused by in the forum shops was you have the little signs above, and they'll say like the stuff that's headed that way. And one of the things it lists is more shops. I love how non-specific that is.
Right. I don't know. Like, I like all the fountains and stuff in the forum shops. I like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Forum shops looks awesome and whatnot. And of course, going to the forum shops to make it, and we kind of made it just in time for Fall of Atlantis.
Yes.
So overall, I'm glad it exists. I want it to keep existing. It does need a refurb.
You didn't get fire, and that's very surprising because to me, it's like not getting fire on that show is like not getting fire during Poseidon's Fury or something. Like that's kind of a pivotal part of the whole thing.
Yeah, like we still had the animatronics, of course, and we still had water things, so it's not without visual spectacle.
Right. But no, the fire was definitely, I mean, they definitely had some phantasmic, like, fire on the water effects. There was definitely, like, a couple moments in particular where the statues themselves a portion of the statues would light on fire. Like, yeah, no.
Like, I noticed a cord on one of them connected to the dude's sword. I assumed that was some sort of fire.
Yes, the sword catches on fire. That's exactly it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a shame.
Yeah. Where was I going with this? One of the other things I noted with it was that, except for the guy with the sword, it was hard to make out the dialogue.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, so that's another thing that they could improve. Mm-hmm. And I get why they'd probably be a bit less concerned about investing in that. Like, let's put stuff on the shops and restaurants that actually bring us money, not as much the old animatronics that need upkeep.
Right.
Or these elaborate show that needs upkeep. But it's a thing that sets it apart from just any other mall. I mean, aside from how nice the design is, but how many other malls have animatronic shows? How many, I ask you? I'm guessing not many. And there was a crowd.
I'm sure there's at least one fucking somewhere in the Mall of America. I could be wrong.
Hopefully I can get back to you on that one day, but
yeah, I could be wrong about that, but if there isn't, it would legitimately kind of surprise me.
Yeah, so and there was definitely a sizable crowd to see the show, so so there's an audience for it.
I mean, that thing is like a relic of like the Vegas of the 90s. It's one of the last gasps of like the hyper themed Vegas.
Yeah, so here's hoping it sticks around, gets the TLC it needs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make some sort of Nah, I can't come up with a TLC pun.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Well, I mean, come to think of it, I did see some of TLC performing at Universal Orlando, but that's another thing entirely.
Oh boy! All right.
So, and as for the whole which Broadway theater is it, I'm gonna say the Al Hirschfeld, because the panels on the side of the curved escalator remind me of the curved boxes in the Hirschfeld.
If you're talking just theaters in general, then I think obviously it's got to be the Greek, which I know is not a Broadway house. So
yeah, and isn't Caesar Roman?
Yes, you're right. My bad.
I know it's
I'm on
it's
a big
mistake I make too.
Musical kick right now, so I'm all about that Greek mythology.
Yeah. And yeah, curved escalators got to go down the one.
The curved escalators are fun. Yes.
I know I'd been on the one in San Francisco before, but that was years ago.
You know what? One of the few things that I really wanted to do in Vegas that I did not get to do is do the Luxor elevators.
Yeah. Thing is, I don't know if you can do that when you're not staying there.
You can't. Because you go into the elevator and you literally have to
scan your card. Yeah, I have to do that at Park MGM too.
Yeah.
And, I do love, let me just brief backtrack to Park MGM, but there's just something so wonderful about having casino printed on the elevator button panel.
Mm-hmm.
So, leaving the Forum shops at Caesars, we cross around past the White Castle that isn't the one you went to, and other such stores and restaurants, whatever, and take a look in the Venetian for that cool, sweet interior, like those paintings on the ceiling, which make me say the Venetian is the Schubert Theater because of the paintings on the ceiling. Got to see the gondolas upstairs and that awesome lobby.
The sad thing with the Venetian for me is that if you remember, like my grandma and I were so fucking flustered trying to find the restaurant we had reservations for that I just could not properly appreciate it.
Now, of course, how many of these cool Vegas Strip shopping areas have fake skies? You get, I think Venetian had one, definitely Forum shops and Paris.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not complaining. I appreciate it. It's neat.
Always love a good indoor-outdoor.
Yeah, and moving sidewalks that make a hump.
Yep.
So, but yeah.
Gondola rides at the Venetian, something ridiculous, like $80 a pop or something.
Yeah, I didn't go on it. I just wanted to see it in action.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy. The prices in Vegas in general are just absolutely out of control.
Yeah, when we got to the room, I'm looking on the dine-in thing, room service order food thing on the app, just in case, and it's literally the Mr. Krabs thing. $25 for a hamburger.
Yep. Doesn't surprise me.
And just mentioning throughout this Vegas day, I mean this whole trip really, but especially the second day, it was windy out there. So that's weather for you. And
yeah, it wasn't unbearably hot. And I want to point out, you and I literally went the same week.
Yeah, like you said that my first day was exactly a year after your last day.
Which is really funny.
Wonderful poetry.
Yep.
So, yes, you have that, and then exhaustion from walking around and all the smoke smell. It's like, yeah, my mouth is it's like, dang, my mouth is not moist.
Yeah.
But so we passed through Harrah's to get to the monorail, and I don't even, there's there's still a fair few that I'm not like, yeah, this is what Broadway theater it is. Harrah's is among them. I mean, maybe Circle in the Square?
Harrah's is honestly one of the most generic casinos on the Strip. It's just we're a casino, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe it was purple. Is that the purple one? Yeah. So, yeah, we get there through the monorail, And hooray, like, I mean, not just on the monorail, but even in another spot or two, like being able to see High Roller and the Sphere. I did not get to see the Sphere at night, but I got to see the Sphere.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer that you didn't get to see it at night.
Yeah, like theoretically, I could have taken a night ride to the Bellagio end of the Aria tram, get a glimpse from there. Ended up not happening.
Uh-huh. The best goal, if you actually do just want to see it at night, is just to take that monorail like all the way around.
Yeah, still requires getting to that monorail and paying,
of course,
and paying for that monorail.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, if the movie playing in there was something I was more interested in, then maybe I'd go.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And also, I just feel like for what it is, it's ridiculously overpriced. Like, I would probably pay like $50 to do it, but like...
What are you speaking of? I've never seen any Eddie Burbeck videos in my life.
Oh, God.
So weird. But anyway, we took the monorail to Horseshoe/Paris to go into Horseshoe because there is Twilight Zone mini golf.
Yeah, do they still have the bodies exhibit right next door?
You know, I actually don't remember.
Okay, yeah, that was like one of the most like unpleasant parts of our trip.
Like, I'm pretty sure I saw that Bodies was still in one or two of the other places, but
it was definitely at the
Luxor. Yeah, I think it was there, but I genuinely don't remember.
Okay.
So, you know, aside from like whatever little stuff like Rugrats Vegas and Simpsons Vegas and Friends Vegas pre-watchings, I decided to go through every single episode of The Twilight Zone before this trip.
Are you what?
Man, you're so incredulous.
you couldn't just look up what references they had in the mini golf course and leave it
I
at
attempted,
that?
but I guess I wanted to play on the safe side.
Oh, man. Okay, that's devotion, dude. That's devotion.
Yeah, getting like, you know, 4 episodes a day in there.
Oh, man.
And, you know, it was fun to like see, I know what that thing is. I know what that reference is. I know what that is. And
honestly, a lot of that golf course, like, it's a great golf course. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but a lot of it is just like the greatest hits.
Yeah. And you know, I feel like my 2 main notes about it are that the major spoiler for the Invaders episode.
Yeah.
And as far as references, so this is a Twilight Zone thing that's located in a Las Vegas Strip casino hotel. And yet it doesn't have the sentient slot machine from Las Vegas from that one episode where it's like follows the guy into his hotel room and keeps calling out his name, Franklin. I
mean, if anything, you would think that would be the big final whole set piece instead of the the Nick and Time thing.
Yeah, and like yeah, we were kind of talking with a couple of the employees afterward after we finished our game, and even they were like, yeah, why don't we have that? That's odd.
Now, I will say the people that do work that golf course did genuinely seem like some of the most chill people in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like Vegas culture when you're in there, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, very good, very kind employees, you know, and knowledgeable on Twilight Zone episodes.
Did you have a favorite hole?
I'm not sure offhand, but, you know, I appreciate the loop. I'm going to have a soft spot for the one with the J. Pat O'Malley creature because I somehow got a hole-in-one on there. And didn't realize it until I went to go for a second putt.
I think my favorite set piece is definitely the one, the Time Enough at Last, with all the books.
That is a nicely done one.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate the dummy being there, and, you know, gotta appreciate Taki Tina being there because that episode freaked my mother out as a child, famously.
Nice.
You know, and I also appreciate that the TVs playing episodes included the one that's not available on streaming.
Oh, nice. Did they have a live DJ in there when you were there?
A what?
A live DJ?
I think briefly.
Okay, yeah, that was one of the parts where I was like, oh, this feels like something straight out of the 80s, dude. This is a vibe.
But yeah, the Franklin slot machine. I mean, and especially since that was probably the biggest personal meme of the whole series for me.
Right.
Yeah. So yay, Twilight Zone glow in the dark mini golf did. Black lights and the So, we passed out there, and I don't mean we passed out. We left there, and we're going up to the casino floor. And, I don't remember horseshoes being a standout interior, but...
It's not. Believe me, it's not.
Like, I think there were horseshoes on the floor, but the escalator going up had waterfalls. So that earns it points.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And since we had the opportunity, like instead of just going out through the main horseshoe doors, we took that way that goes straight into Paris.
Yep.
And almost immediately it's like, wow, Tiki is right. This is the worst smell so far.
Oh, I was fucking imagine staying there a week, dude. It was brutal. I hated it there. Every fucking day when I would get off the elevator, it would just smack me in the face. It was such a lousy way to start your day. Oh God, I remember just like that in itself took away about 20% of the excitement I had when I arrived.
Dang it, olfactory senses. But yeah, wouldn't it be funny if they tried to make this place smells horrible joke for Venom 3, and then Paris was like, no, we won't let you do that.
I mean, I honestly think part of the reason why it smells so much worse is because people, like, if you are going to smoke in a casino, Paris is the one to do it in because you feel fucking classy when you do it.
Yeah, and of course, it looks awesome inside Paris.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, don't get me wrong. The actual interior is awesome. Yeah, it just smells horrible.
Yeah, that's, again, that's where the standout thing of Park MGM.
And my grandma and I spent like $80 on 3 fucking crepes the last night, and that was our final meal. Oh my God. Yeah.
I could probably come up with a Broadway house for Paris at some point, but I don't know one off the top of my head. I haven't really thought that far. I could see Lunt-Fontanne being an option or a possibility, but I can't commit to that.
All right.
Yeah.
You didn't do the Eiffel Tower, I assume?
No.
Yeah.
No, I got glimpses of the Eiffel Tower, so yeah, I got to see the 2 things that Gru stole from Vegas in the first Despicable Me.
Right.
So, and then came, walking down the strip and then passing through the Miracle Mile Mall kind of in vain, trying to find Rainforest Cafe just to glimpse in there because I've never seen an Eddie Burback video in my life.
Did you go there specifically because of the Eddie Burback video?
Wow, I hadn't thought of it in that percentage way before. But yeah, that's got to be a major factor. I just hadn't realized how much it would be opposed to, hey, it's Rainforest Cafe.
Well, because think about it. It's like both in the Margaritaville and the Rainforest Cafe episodes, it's like when they go to the last Margaritaville in Vegas, they have that whole thing where it's like, you want to go get a drink at the Rainforest Cafe? Yeah, I do.
I mean, we did make it to Rainforest Cafe to kind of look around in there, but it was sort of rough accessing there. Like I thought, oh, Miracle Mile, I think we can cut through there to get to it. Turns out not so much, and then we exit on the other side in like an elevator. And
for the record, I fucking hated the Miracle Mile. I fucking absolutely hated it. I avoided it as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, so and you're like, so try to get out. We get out of there, and it's like, is that an elevator? And I don't think we can do that escalator. And this elevator is out of service.
Oh my God.
Okay, we'll do the escalator that I thought we wouldn't be able to do in the first place. So, which is why I went through Miracle Mile to begin with. It's funny. Yes, outside of Miracle Mile, I think is the only place I saw costumed characters. And there were 3 of them. The only one I remember offhand is Bluey.
Of course.
But yeah, so
at this point, Louis is probably like just as popular with people our age as it is with kids.
Took you that long to realize that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Well, yeah, Bluey's great. So, where's it going with this? But yeah, we did find Rainforest Cafe, and I'm surprised. I was surprised by how small the store area is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, did you see it at all, or?
No.
Right. I say that as if you didn't talk about avoiding Miracle Mile, but yeah, it's just like on one side you have the bar, and then the other side it's like you have Tracy Tree and the Jaguar and the crocodile, and that's essentially it for the store.
Yeah, it's like a teeny version of what the store usually is.
Yeah, I mean, I did get a little look upstairs at,
Dude, I still fondly miss the downtown Disney Rainforest Cafe. I don't care if it was terrible food. I just feel like Rainforest Cafe is just a Disney vibe. Every Disney resort should have a Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, I know Tokyo does.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were any international ones outside of Canada.
Yeah, like I've said, I remember the Animal Kingdom Rainforest Cafe tasting better than Disneyland, so I don't know how.
I popped into the Animal Kingdom Rainforest Cafe very briefly when we were waiting for our Animal Kingdom After Hours thing to start. Mm-hmm. We had a drink there.
But yeah, so I did manage to see, a few of the animals up top, and, sat on the bench that has the gorilla statue. Yay, gorillas. Yeah, so then cross the bridge and return, cross through the Aria Crystal stop to get on the Aria tram to get back to our hotel at long last. We'd been walking around the strip for what, 4 hours?
No, I mean, God, props to your mother, dude, for doing that walk. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it was definitely rough, but she confirmed after that it was still a good time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know Twilight Zone certainly was a bit of a break.
Yeah, definitely.
And I didn't have time to make it to Flyover that night, we're exhausted, and it looks like Flyover is closing soon anyway. Mm-hmm. But I ran some, scheduling numbers through my head and realized, okay, I believe I can hit up Flyover right in the morning.
Yeah.
And that is what I did, Fly Baby. Yeah, I booked 9:15 a.m. Iceland flights, and I'm able to just walk right over there, up the escalator, cross the bridge, down the escalator. There
right across the street, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so I did that, and I had that time slot entirely to myself.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's quite a fluke because whoever the slot was going in before me, that had people.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, yay, solo experience on a ride. Pre-show rooms to myself.
Could you imagine doing Soarin' by yourself?
I want it now. Over California, of course.
If I had Soarin' to myself, I would be so interactive with Patrick Warburton. I would be quoting every last line of that thing. Nice work, pal.
And this Iceland, the pre-shows did have the old lady troll person. So, a new ride character or another ride character for the lineup.
Yeah, I remember the flyover thing at Pigeon Forge had a random steampunk aesthetic, and it definitely.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually the flyover brand, but
yeah.
Yeah, so were there any characters for the pre-show you had?
Yes, I just can't remember them for the life of me, but yes, there were definitely characters.
Yeah. Also, so for your pre-show, was there video on the surrounding walls?
Yes.
Okay, for me they weren't. It was just the two spots in the middle of the room.
Oh, that's a bummer.
We still had some lighting on the floor and the projections that were there, neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Pre-shows. And but yeah, it was a nice ride, a nice flight over Iceland. I can't really say much in terms of specifics, Iceland scenery. Hey, we faced really far down at one point.
I'm pretty sure that my grandma and I did the Utah one, which was perfect. because we were obviously going to Bryce Canyon and Zion later on in the trip, so that was a fun kind of like, anticipation of that.
Yeah, I think for me, I was trying to do was like, okay, what's the least like soaring over California?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and maybe also kind of least like Rise and Y and maybe Wings Over Washington as well. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Like over the past 13 months, I've made it on 3 not Sorens.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like soaring over the flying theater thing has become kind of commonplace.
Yeah, like in the little hall you take to get from the Holland stairs that take you up to the main theater, I was definitely getting some Rise and Y flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And also some Rise and Y flashbacks from, having the top of the screen and kind of the ceiling visible. Though it was less of an issue at Flyover than it is in Rise and Y.
Mm-hmm.
And something I find kind of cool or neat is how, amongst these 3 not Soren, and even like including Soren, amongst these 4 different attractions, these 4 different takes on the same ride system, it's a different mechanism that gets you to the screen.
Yeah, seriously, that is really interesting. Yeah,
like none of them are the Soren Erector set. Rise and Y has its own way. Wings Over Washington has its own way. That for all I know, maybe it's like the Steampunk Pigeon Forge thing, and then Flyover has its own way.
And then even the Lego Movie ride has a different one, because the Lego Movie ride is kind of like, I don't think they're actually Kuka arms, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah, the Legoland one is after my time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of moments during this where I took a chance, like, no, I'm going to sneak a peek, watch the other vehicle in motion. But anyway, so yay, Flyover. And I thought it's a pretty cool touch. I appreciate that you get to walk by the control booth on your way out.
Oh, yeah.
The control room. Yeah. And a nice little lobby area.
It kind of reminds me of how, like, one of my favorite parts of Mission Space is at the end, you actually walk out, like, through the simulator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reason I say that I would have time to squeeze it in, because I had an 11 a.m. booking for a place that, took a little bit of a couple wrong turns or 2 on the way there, but I still made it to a place that doesn't exist because it houses Omega Mart.
You didn't fucking walk there, did you?
No, I drove.
Okay, good. Oh my God. I was like, you poor soul.
And then with soul in this case meaning feet.
Yes. Oh my God.
But pish. I spit on my hand with that one.
So Omega Mart, one thing about Omega Mart I was definitely curious about with you is that I knew you would like the theming, but like, how did you handle the germ element of that place?
A lot of hand sanitizing.
Yep, I figured.
So yes, that kind of thing where it's like, I've been sanitizing a lot, and now there's like these little grody particles on my hands.
Mm-hmm. All right, but yes, Omega Mart, I think, is one of the best attractions in Vegas for me personally. I love the immersion of it. I did not do the card game that you did. I wasn't even aware of it until we were like on our way out. But so that gives me an incentive to actually.
Absolutely, yeah, that gives you an incentive. Like one of the reasons that I have a bit less of an incentive to return is because I did all the game stuff you can with it.
I still feel like if you really want to take the time and invest in it, which would require you to like really get hands-on with all this stuff.
Not just hands-on, but it's also like a kind of like, I don't know, patience thing, or I don't
right. No, I'm just saying, like, if you want to dive in, you can really dive in.
Absolutely. And all of that stuff is pretty cool. There. Like it's neat that you have all that. Ooh, I can leaf through papers and whatnot.
Right.
And I did some leafing through and some looking at things, just like it's kind of like, I feel ready to move on.
No, but honestly, like you know what? It's kind of a shame that you can't like go in and out, because I could totally see myself just spending a whole day there, just combing through literally fucking everything.
Yeah.
But I still maintain that I think the most impressive thing thematically that's there, like, the abstract stuff when you get deeper in is cool, But I think the grocery store side of things is like really where the immersion is, because I love how true to life it genuinely feels like a grocery store that's just a little bit off, you know?
Yeah, and there's so many funny, wonderful details in there.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, that stuff's great.
I assume you saw the employee break room, right?
Yeah, I didn't get it. I only kind of got little glances of the movie and maybe some of the details in there, but yes, I did see the break room.
I love how accurate that place feels to an actual employee break room. It's so it's like it's immersive in like the most abrasive way possible.
and of course, I definitely enjoyed the gag in the janitor's closet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I sound like I'm kind of like just saying all the criticisms, which I don't mean to. Omega Mart's real cool and nicely done and stuff.
It's
and
definitely more of a me thing than a you thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed discovering the lore. That's a neat little touch to do. Like, some of the plot thickening. And that stuff is also sort of aided with the boop card. And thankfully you can download stuff on there to watch it at home.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of things where I didn't watch it. Like I don't know if I have the time for this, so download. Okay, download. I did quite enjoy without saying too much for people who want to discover it, the keyboard that you could type on.
Right.
There's something just so satisfying about typing on that thing. And also its purpose, the reason you're typing on it, that's a fun one too.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was amazed. I was definitely surprised by how big the Omega at the entrance is.
Yeah, it is pretty. It's a pretty.
Wow, seeing impressive things in person.
Yep.
And it is a. Dang it! I'm throwing into another criticism thing of it, but it is a bit of a bummer that some parts of it aren't going to be accessible for everyone. Like
for sure.
I know there's the elevator, so you don't as an alternative to all those steep staircases. But there's one spot in particular which which I did at the very end, and it's like, oh, it's cool in here. It's pretty cool looking, but it's not going to be accessible to everyone because aside from the room itself being something not all people will be able to physically do, the entrance to it is very small. Yeah. Let's see. So just a sort of funny little thing that I'd heard about there being slides in there, and I saw the things that used to be slides, but I didn't know until after that, yes, they were formerly slides that people could go down, but they had to close it because it was unsafe because it was designed by artists instead of people who make slides. It's like, brah, how do you do that? How do you make that mistake?
Right.
But yeah, so another thing I do want to praise is some of the employees that you have around there, say in the upper levels, particularly where it's yes, if you have a question, feel free to ask them. They will be helpful. So yay, customer service.
That's always nice for sure.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I do find obviously with Vegas, it's a very tip-based customer service culture. But generally speaking, they are very nice people. I didn't really have any negative experiences with people in Vegas.
Yeah, I can't really think of negative experiences. Maybe at least one that was awkward, particularly on my end. But but yeah. So yeah, I'm glad I got to see Omega Mart and to check it out. I'm not saying I'd never go there again. It's I already did it, and I got through the boop card stuff, so it would be more so to just look at little details and things, which...
I imagine you're probably curious to see what other Meow Wolf stuff is though, because I definitely am.
Maybe some more than others. The first thing I ever saw of theirs was that Ghost Blasters 2 reskin they did in Colorado.
I'm talking about the full-blown, art installations.
Yeah, because that POV, when I watched it, was this is such incomprehensible art, it makes me angry.
Nah, yeah. I don't.
Whereas like Omega Mart is a more approachable premise for me.
I don't think they fit themselves well to like traditional theme parks. Just by their very nature, it's kind of has to be like a more exploratory, like experimental type of attraction, I think.
Yeah, and it was, and of course, there was a thing or two in Area 15. I'd certainly be up for checking out, looking a little more into.
I was debating with myself on if that stupid zipline thing counted as a coaster credit or not.
Yeah.
I was like, if it does count as a credit, I really should do it, but I don't want to waste the money on it if it doesn't count as a credit.
Yeah, like I probably would give that a go, and yeah, I got to see at least one person going along it, so yay, visual kineticism. Uh-huh. I briefly looked in the first level of the Asylum Bar Plus Arcade, and I was like, I've already touched a lot of stuff, and none of these 4 pinball machines down here are like ones that I'm feeling like I have to play this.
Right.
So yeah, obviously Area 15 looks neat inside, and the announcements outside were a fun detail. And there is a thing in there called Wink World where it's like, I know Mall of America has that as well. So that's
I know that
option for another place.
Shows in Vegas aren't your thing, but I have heard that the immersive theater show at Area 15 is one of the best ones.
I'm not sure I knew there was one.
It's outside. It's like in a different like theater that's in the same like area.
Okay. You mean it takes place outside, or it's one of the buildings outside?
No. It's a building that's like not in the main Area 15 building.
Right, like the John Wick thing.
Yeah. Or the Halloween Horror Night thing when that opens.
Yeah. That's like in a few months.
Yep.
So yeah. So I drove back, and then from after getting back to the hotel, Park MGM, we took a lift to big sign.
Okay, but tell me that sign doesn't look ghetto as hell, dude. That sign looks rough.
I wouldn't say that, both because I wouldn't use the term ghetto, and also I wasn't exactly thinking rough. I mean, at least for the big. I mean, we're talking about the big clown outside, right?
No. I'm talking about the Circus sign that's kind of in the parking lot. It's you might not have seen it, but like if you saw it,
it's possible I didn't. I mean, I do kind of enjoy just how outdated or not in best condition the letters on the sides of the building looks. There's something comforting about that to me, or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, circus. Oh,
I think circus has like an okay vibe in the actual casino. It's just Adventure Dome is fucking hell.
It is just kind of funny to me. It's funny to me just how not circusy most of it is. Like it's kind of mostly like especially casino areas. It's like dark cave.
Basically,
or like you go in through. I mean, I didn't see the hotel lobby check-in, so maybe that's a bit more circusy. But yeah, it's just so funny. You walk in there and you look to the left, and immediately there's like some brown wooden paneling with the grates closed and some little thing on it that says Circus Express. That is, I mean, is that not the most circusy thing there is?
Right.
And of course, what circus isn't an amazing circus without an abandoned Del Taco in it?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the Midway, that's a nice place. All the decorations and the, and it's got games that are neat. And we were in time to see the Trapeze Act.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't even think I walked by that area at all.
Yeah. I wish that for the Trapeze Act in particular, sit to the back of the bleachers. I mean, we were like 3 from the back, and it's like, ooh, craning my neck.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely a very talented troupe. You get the things of like, when they're getting near the ceiling. The thrill of things. Very talented people. And as we get to the sort of back to the sort of Broadwayness of it, the escalators, that room with the escalators you take up to get to Adventure Dome level, that was giving me some nice Minskoff theater feels. So that's where that is. That's which theater that is, because the sort of could be stronger interior, and I mean definitely that room with the escalator, that set of escalators, and it being one that attracts families.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah,
did you get any sort of a glimpse at the pink hellscape of Adventure Dome?
I did get glimpses inside Adventure Dome.
Oh man, it's seriously, Adventure Dome is like one of the most unpleasant experiences I have ever had on any vacation.
Maybe it would have been more noticeable to me if I'd actually been inside there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
also, keep in mind, my field of vision was already pretty like messed up from like the seizure-inducing room in
Omega Mart.
In Omega Mart, yeah. So like that was not helping.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the mountains and the coaster tracks looked neat.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay. So we get across there and we go to the reason why we're here! SpongeBob's Crazy Carnival Adventure. It's Mr. Krabs. And the fact that his mouth doesn't close all the way doesn't bother me as much in person. Yeah, just a little presage before really getting into SpongeBob proper. The machines, we tried one in the main Midway area, but wow, the kiosks to get the Midway gameplay cards sucked.
it was a pain in the ass. I was
I have to type the thing in, press the green. Am I pressing green and is it not working? Can I tap the card? I'm not sure I can, and the inserting it's being weird, and does it give a receipt? And looked up just in time to see the thing to say, do you want a receipt? Right, like a half second before it went away.
Uh-huh.
You could be doing better there.
Yeah, I was just like, why can we not just like fucking like walk up to a booth and purchase a ticket, dude? Why is it like this?
Mm-hmm.
To quote Steve Carell in The Office, I don't understand why you are the way that you are.
As far as traveling around the strip and whatnot, and especially after Omega Mart, to quote a different Steve Carell thing, you better shower when you get back to your hotel.
God.
And he replaced a ride that used to have SpongeBob in it.
Yep.
But yeah, so, and as far as pre-trip watch things, by pure chance, my local art house theater happened to be doing screenings of the SpongeBob movie the 2 nights before I left. So what is this?
Yeah, that is about the best like pre-trip like get in the mood thing I've ever heard. That's awesome.
It's like, oh dang, I'm gonna feel obligated to go to this, aren't I?
Do you remember what my first time I went to Disney World event was?
South Pacific.
Well, yes, but I'm talking like the day before I left.
Oh shit, no.
The Greg Sestero book signing.
Oh, it's that day. I didn't remember that. Wow. Dang. South Pacific before trips, eh? South Pacific doing the Disney World trip, and then we did the podcast. And then a year after we do the podcast, I'm in South Pacific right before a Broadway trip. What the hell?
I mean, I'm sure you remember me saying this, but I remember watching South Pacific and getting to Bali High, and I'm just
Bali High is Disney World. It's your island.
That's gonna be the Tiki room, baby. That's gonna be the Tiki room. That's my Bali High.
and with this SpongeBob screening, especially, they were doing one on that Friday night and another a little later that Saturday night. I went to the Friday night one, and it was it was the first time I'd been, and this has probably happened at other events there, but the first time I'd seen a line around the building waiting to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And holy shit, that audience was wow.
I seriously envy you.
That's what really made the experience, is all the laughing and bunch of quoting, some singing, bunch of cheering, sounds of disappointment when the heroes get dried out. I was debating on whether or not to say this throughout the movie, and I decided to do it at that part, yelling out, Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Yeah, and I guess it did well for that theater because they added a bunch of SpongeBob showings for the next few days.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will never get over how great the cold open is in that movie with a live action pirate. It's one of the most delightful openings to any movie ever.
Yeah. But anyway, so for the SpongeBob ride itself, I got on it twice. And yeah, it was like we were the only ones doing that ride, it seemed.
Yeah, man, the ridership. I mean, it's like they put that ride in such an awkward location. I still think, like, I don't care what you had to do. That ride absolutely should have been in Adventure Dome proper. Like, I don't care if it's an upcharge. The fact that you have to physically go out of Adventure Dome to do
all the way to the end.
Right.
Around that whole curve.
It's a ridiculous setup.
But yeah, it's a thing where it's like, there are criticisms I could make about the ride, but I'm so spoiled by Disney and Universal quality, and I want to, say the nice things, but also recognize the spots where there's room for improvement. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think for a regional thing that could easily be cloned at regional
absolutely theme parks, very really clonable. Impressive. Yeah. I mean, it's already been cloned in Turkey. But yeah, definitely very clonable thing, and I certainly respect how they're able to fit so much into such a tiny space.
Yeah, totally. I was impressed by how long the ride time was.
I appreciate that it's got animatronics in there. And,
the Midway Mania, you can do it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, the Six Flags Battle for Metropolis ride got one up on you in terms of animatronics.
Dude, that is not a great shooting dark ride at all, but
it's not impressive. In 3D anymore.
Oh God, that's
which I'll certainly have things to say about with this one, because I didn't realize until I'd sat down in the vehicle that, oh wait, this isn't in 3D. And yeah, so this new thesis I have from the SpongeBob ride is that if you're doing a shooting ride and it's one that uses screens, it's got to be 3D.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the depth perception and whatnot was a major issue for SpongeBob.
Is Minion Blast in 3D? I don't remember.
Pretty sure not. That's funny. I hadn't thought about Minion Blast. I guess it slipped my mind, and I guess I've also thought of ones where you're in a vehicle.
Dude, I'm gonna be at that resort in 6 months, and I am not. I will do that ride once just to say I did it, but it is one of the things I am actively not looking forward to on that trip.
What are you talking about? You never had issues with standing.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
oh man, Epic Universe, by the way, I'm stoked for Epic Universe, but there are so many stairs in that park, dude. There are so many stairs in that park. My poor feet are gonna hate me.
Yeah, I've had the thought it would be funny to have I don't know, an epic rap battle or something between the stairs in Omega Mart and the stairs when you exit Mario Kart.
Oh God. I know. I think Mario Kart takes it hands down.
Yeah, although I don't think those ones were quite as steep as the ones in Omega Mart.
I mean, true. Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm not sure who the winner would be. Who won, who decides? I don't know. But yeah, the gameplay mechanics were probably the largest issue I had with SpongeBob. It's it could have been a little more clear who was firing, and the mechanics were a bit off. It didn't feel quite in line visually with the blasters.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also just a little note I noticed. So because front ride I did the front row, second I did the back row. Back row seemed a little better for gameplay. Front row is better for the climax, for your field of vision. But yeah, and with the ride itself, there's still some fun bits in there. I love getting the little posters and whatnot around the ride. There's doors that open that have a Krabby Patty on them. Yes, I love doors on dark rides. And these ones have a Krabby Patty on them. Yes, please. So, and I definitely appreciate the little references, like quotations from the show peppered around the attraction, like on some of the posters or in Mr. Krabs' dialogue. And you get some fun lines, some funny lines in the attraction. Without giving it away for anyone listening, the game that you particularly loved, even if it didn't quite hit the funny bone for me so much, it's definitely, yes, this needs to be in the ride.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like when I saw it, I just like laughed out loud hysterically or anything. I just thought it was a really clever way to do oh, that's a fun way to incorporate shooting into a gag that's not a traditional what you would think of when you think of shooting.
Yeah,
right?
We're doing a SpongeBob Carnival Games ride, a SpongeBob shooting ride. Yes, this game needs to be here. I won't lie. My sort of wonder is oh, what could this funny game be? I wondered if it was a my leg type thing.
Right.
But yeah, and did I have other things to say about it? I'm not entirely certain I did. I mean, but yay, SpongeBob ride exists. The SpongeBob Dark Ride exists with animatronics present and some fun little details around. The store does not sell chocolate, I noticed.
Oh my god. That's a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah, they had Pez dispensers, they had those little gummy Krabby Patties. I didn't see chocolate.
They should totally just have generic chocolate bars that just say chocolate on them, and that's it.
Yeah.
I remember when Paramount still owned California's Great America, I wanted a SpongeBob Dark Ride in that park so bad. We did have SpongeBob 3D though. That was a fun time.
I never got to experience that one.
Okay. You never experienced SpongeBob 3D? Really?
Not in person, no.
I find that surprising just because it was in so many places.
Yeah, I guess I just never got to the places where I'd have been able to.
Interesting. Okay.
When it would have been there. But yay, the SpongeBob ride is did. It's why I went there in the first place, and God, it did! Hooray! Nah, I don't remember if I had other circusy things to say offhand or about the SpongeBob ones, but yeah, used to pulled it off. So yeah, we get back and we decide you know what, let's do some little walking to check out some of the stuff south of our place, like Luxor and NY.
Oh, you did go to Luxor?
Yeah, our Spark MGM exits right out into the park, between NY. So walked along the outside of New York, and got up on the bridge that takes you towards Excalibur. We did not go inside Excalibur. I didn't feel a strong need to see. I'm sure it looks nice in there, but it wasn't as much of oh yeah, I got to see this one, Venetian level.
Same.
I did get to see the moat where I did get to see Merlin's shack, and the doors where the dragon used to come out.
I did not see that just because I was not confident that I'd be able to find it, so I never bothered to try.
Yeah, taking the bridge from the park to Excalibur, it's like you can see it on the right.
Okay.
Once you've gotten to Excalibur territory. And it's paved over now, so no water, no remaining tracks that the dragon would ride out.
But you can still tell what it is.
Yeah. I said, the Merlin shack is still there. And the little thing he went out on. May we just acknowledge how fucking insane that dragon is? Just you look at the POVs and the old videos of it, it's like something out of some weird kind of unpleasant dream, or it's all this spooky animatronic thing is coming out so slowly and around the corner, and there's so much, oh god, it's not done coming out yet. There's more of it.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen it in person, of course. I wish I could have seen that show in person.
I'm pretty sure
if it was working.
I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but the old cave train at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk before they redid it had this it's obviously supposed to be a dinosaur, but it looked more like a dragon. and it would like pop its head out like at the exterior of the ride, and it scared the shit out of my dad when he was a little kid.
Don't fucking blame him there. I mean, I can relate. Like, was it this one time at Metreon, like, what, 22 years ago or something? Like, kind of approaching where the Wild Things Are place is, like, kind of around the entrance arch or whatever of it, and then that one sea monster wild thing pops up, and I'm like, nope, turn around, out of there, not going in there.
San Francisco?
That was in San Francisco, yeah.
I did not know they ever had a Where the Wild Things Are thing there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's still video or pictures of it, but yeah, like on one of the upper floors, they had like some sort of Where the Wild Things Are thing where you could walk around and play.
I saw Aladdin in IMAX at that AMC back in the day.
Yeah, I know that AMC is one of the ones that got the 70 millimeter IMAX print of Sinners.
Yeah, I was tempted, but at this point I've already seen Sinners 3 times, so it's like, and plus there's a beach in San Francisco I really want to check out that I just realized that I can actually get to from the bus. So like if I'm going to spend the money to take the bus into the city, I'm just going to do a beach day.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I digress.
Yeah. Yeah, so we took the complimentary tram that goes between Excalibur and Luxor and Mandalay Bay.
Which, when you can imagine the chaos during like when that Rolling Stone show got out.
Oh,
there were so many people trying to get on that thing.
And the way that thing operated was sort of confusing. It's like, okay, this side goes straight to Mandalay, so we'll not be taking that one. We'll be taking the one that makes stops. We board it, and it goes straight to Mandalay. Like, oh, we're just bypassing Luxor, and then it goes back to Luxor.
Yeah, right.
And then after Luxor, it makes some one little stop on the other side of Excalibur before the actual end of the track Excalibur stop. It's like, what, is this an Excalibur stop? That's odd.
Yeah, it's weird.
And of course, with Excalibur, I did watch the shit episode of South Park where they go there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't stop thinking of that. Riding that tram by, like, saying a word of curse every once in a while does nothing. Yeah, so we did not go into Mandalay Bay. I seem to remember a weird smell coming in from that station. But we did go into Luxor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, seeing that Sphinx out front, it was bringing me back to the Pharaohs thing that used to be in Redlands, California? I don't remember if that's actually what it was, but it started with an R, I want to say. Kind of Riverside-y. I think it was Redlands. Like some big Pharaohs thing that had like arcade inside and some amusement park thing out back and water slide. And I never really got to see it in good condition, or if the water's slide, or I never saw the amusement park even working, and it's not even there anymore.
Sorry. I should not be randomly browsing Facebook. I'm sorry. I'm listening, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to see the inside of it, and it's kind of funny going up onto the second level of that atrium area. It's like, oh, I feel smaller now.
Yeah, no, the interior of Luxor is very impressive to me, honestly, just from a pure like architecture point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was the King Tut still there when you were there?
Yes, that was still there.
Yeah, I assume you didn't do that, but I remember having a really fun time with that.
Mm-hmm.
The best way I could describe it is it was essentially like a museum-length version of the Indiana Jones queue.
Nice. The Titanic thing was still there, and obviously Carrot Top and whatever the Atrium Showgirl Fantasy thing is still there.
I still love that I saw that show with my grandma, dude. That's going to be a memory I can hold on to for the rest of my life.
That's wonderful. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there was a temptation of like, what if we did make the Carrot Top show? But we didn't.
Yeah, oh man, I think you would have a fun time with it, but yeah, I understand not wanting to do it so last minute. It does cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah, and of course, times being what they were back in the day, it would have been nice to see the animatronic camels, but those aren't around anymore. Camels. So, yeah, we leave there, take the tram back, and then we walk through New York. And we happen to be in there, like, and on TV. The game whatever game is coming to an end, and the New York Knicks win. So
that's funny.
So yeah, how fitting. Bragging rights. If I can say that happened. Yeah, I decided, while we're in here, I want to at least kind of see the Coasters area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're looking around there. Coasters closed.
Is it in like full on standing but not operating status right now?
I have no idea, because that never even occurred to me until we were there. Like maybe I just wasn't looking when it was operating. So, and it wasn't listed as closed.
Yeah.
But there, it's just not there. It's closed off.
But you straight up like never saw it run, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of wondering if is it actually not running, or is it just me not looking at the right time?
Right.
Yeah, I guess I'm also just, kind of like a bit just still, I guess, spoiled by Islands of Adventure, where it's like, there goes Hulk. There goes Hulk again. There goes Hulk again.
Right.
Seeing this in person. And, I didn't quite get I feel like I'm back in New York feels from this place, but, it's also maybe spots in New York City that I haven't been to.
Mm-hmm. What more felt like you were actually in New York? Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, or this?
Race Through New York.
That's what I thought you'd say, yeah.
like even just the outside that looks like Rockefeller. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was fun to be able to see the Empire State Building from the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
And Statue of Liberty and the Ellis Island recreation. But yeah, so yeah, it's kind of like we were saying before. Like in terms of like comparison of smelly light up City of Vice and where my preferences lie, like yeah, it is still with New York. Like because even though it took me 3 times to like the place, it's even then even if accounting for that there's stuff I haven't done yet out there or would like to see or check out, the main thing that gets me there to begin with is one that's always in flux.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like always, like, shows coming and going and theaters I haven't been in. And ironically enough, I'm not sure which Broadway house New York would be. Like, I'd have to think on it. Like, maybe that's another one that could be Circle in the Square, but I feel like there's too much detail for it to be Circle in the Square. So, was there even anything else? Oh yeah, and we got back and I did a little gaming in the casino, like a few slots. And I mean, there was one case where it's like, okay, I got 50 cents out of it, but I only had those 50 cents because whoever was playing before me didn't collect on it.
Yeah. I put $50 into a video poker machine and like never again. I gambling is not my thing.
Yeah, not my thing either. Like, I made 1 or 2 other slots attempts, one not being successful, one where I put a 5 in, which got me a few tries, and ended up with $11. So there's that. Nice. I did an attempt at roulette, and that was like, certainly some awkwardness on my end, like not an anxiety and whatnot, like not fully understanding, like, okay, how do the chips work precisely?
Right. No, I really wanted to try poker.
And I'd accidentally handed over more money than I'd intended. So, so I was able to collect that back after using just a fraction of it, like just try to get back. Okay, I meant to do only like 15 or so because that's the minimum bet, or what, I meant to do 30 maybe. So, okay, I can get the stuff I didn't intend to bet back. Which I did, I put it on my good number because that had seemed to be getting rolled a lot. And I put it on, I certainly made sure to put one on 20, even though that hadn't been rolled in ages, just because, because of that scene from Run Lola Run. But yeah, and I know the numbers on that they show of like what had been rolled recently. I know that means nothing. I know the slots are crap. No pun intended, like that they're like, what's the word? Like not really a reliable thing. Like they're
basically fixed.
Yeah, or like a horrible option.
Yeah.
Dang it, accessibility. I would have attempted Baccarat if I'd found it and or if it wasn't in a high limit area.
I really wanted to do Texas Hold'em. Like, I know how to play Texas Hold'em. I don't think there would have been like an issue with me knowing how to play or anything. The problem is that I just did not want to deal with the social anxiety of having to go up and ask for the chips and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, so maybe one day.
Yeah. At least I could, watch the machine version of craps in action.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you need visual element. And yeah, so I don't think there's too much else there. We drove back the next morning. We got home at last, and feet were sore and trouble sleeping. And but yay, we did the thing. We pulled it off.
Yeah, nice.
And we've been able to talk about it here, bounce off of each other a bit about our respective experiences.
Oh God, yeah. I was there for a week, Monkey. A week. You had it lucky. You had it good. You were there for a weekend. Oh God, a week in that place is just too long. It's too long. Don't do it.
I'm sure it's not the only thing in Vegas that's too long.
Hey, yo. Well, that note, have a good night, everyone. See you later.